Morning everyone. I came out this morning to try and get fog once again, and there is no fog. Seems like a theme with me, but don't worry, I've got a backup plan. I've brought some macro equipment, and this one's going to be about macro. So it's September now. I think it's safe to say that height of summer's gone now, giving way to autumn, the very early signs of autumn. And I do like September. It feels like it's always like a new start for me, you know. It's usually like starting a university course, or new jobs often start in September and things. And also you get that change in the weather as well, and you know, the greens start to turn yellow and orange, and you get some great colours in the woods, and it can make some really great photography. So yeah, I'm enjoying being out, and also sunrise is not as early, so that's good. So yeah, it's a bit overcast today, but that's fine, doesn't really matter that much for macro. It's a little bit chillier than it has been, so I don't know what we'll find. There might be some bugs. If not, we'll get some leaves or berries or that kind of thing. So yeah, looking forward to it. Let's find some macro stuff to take photos of. So I thought I'd just run through some of the gear that I brought with me today. I've got a little bit that I was going to use for forest photography if I had the foggy weather, and also the macro stuff that I brought as a backup. So this is my bag. It's a Vanguard VO42 Discover. It's really good actually. It's got this kind of like pouch at the bottom there, and these buckles that you can attach around a tripod. So I've got a really small travel tripod that I can fit in there, which is also a Vanguard actually, and I'm using that to film on right now. But you can stick that in there, buckle it up, and it carries it really well. I can also even put my big tripod in here as well. It sticks out a bit at the top, but it still works. And yeah, it's got quite a lot of pockets. It's got one in the top for all your main stuff. I've got some filters in there, extra batteries. I've got my trusty tea towel and some cleaning cloths in there. It also has this little kind of pocket here, which is for the rain cover, which is really good if you get a downpour. You get some side entrance pockets into the main compartment, which are really useful. So I've got my Z7 in there. And just on the side of each side pocket, if that makes sense, you've got these little ones here, and they're just really good for keeping things like, I've got my lens cleaning pen there, cloths, batteries, things like that. So yeah, you can get into the main compartment through the back as well, so that opens up as one big thing. And then there's enough space in there. I've got my Z7, I've got the FTZ adapter, which I'll be needing to attach my Tokina 100mm macro lens. I've also brought with me my ring flash, which goes onto the end of my macro lens, which gives me that little bit of extra light. I don't even know the brand of this, I just got it from Amazon. It was fairly cheap, but it does a fairly decent job. It's not mega powerful, but it just adds that little bit of light that can just help sometimes if it's overcast like it is today, or if you're in quite a dark area in the woods or under a bush or something, and just add that little bit of extra light that you need to get your shot. So one of the really annoying things with the Z7, well, not the Z7 necessarily, but using the Z7 with the FTZ adapter, is that when you use the adapter, if you're also using it with a bracket like this to attach to your tripod, it means that you can't attach the adapter because that won't go on and turn. So I've got to remove the bracket first before I can get that on there. So, got my penknife. Then you can actually turn that. So it's just something to consider if you're using the FTZ adapter with one of these little L brackets. So yeah, Got my Tokina 100mm 2.8 macro lens on there now. It's a really good lens. I've been using it for a couple of years with my D7500 and it works really well with that, which is a crop sensor body. But yeah, today I'm using it on my full frame Z7, which means I have to use the FTZ adapter. That lets you use F-mount lenses on the Z-mount body. And the benefit of using it on this camera is, well, it's much higher resolution, 45 megapixels, it's full frame, but also it's got in-body image stabilization. So the lens itself doesn't have any stabilization, so it's great that the body can give it some that it wouldn't have on a different body. And that's really useful for macro because the focal lengths that you're working at means that any little movement is amplified. So yeah, just that extra stabilization just means that when you're working with lower shutter speeds due to low light or something, you're just going to get that little bit of extra help to keep you sharp and in focus. And like I said, I'm using the ring flash, so that just fits onto the hot shoe. Just need to remove this little cover. Goes in there like that, and then the flash, the ring flash itself, just fits onto the front. You've got this little adapter. You get several in the box for different lenses, lens sizes. Screw that onto your lens, and that means you can just attach the ring flash, and that just gives you that little bit of extra light. Okay, so first stop, I'm going to get these berries, elderberries I think they are. I think I'm going to go for an autumn theme, seeing as we're starting to move into autumn now, so yeah, I'm just going to try and collect some macro shots of autumn themed things. Okay, so I found these nice red berries on this bush and I'm going to try and get a shot of these. And there's a bit of sun coming up through the clouds now, so that's lighting it up a bit. Might not need so much light from my ring flash. It'd be tempting to get some of the really nice berries that are not rotting or decaying or anything, but I'm actually going to get some of the ones that are decaying, just because I think it tells more of a story about autumn. And I'm just trying to line the berries up in the shot so that it's a nice composition now. Obviously with being macro it fills quite a lot of the frame, and it's just making sure that those berries are distributed nicely throughout the frame for a nice composition. There's a little bit of wind, so it is moving around. That's not ideal. And the other thing is, one of the downsides of using the Tokina lens with the FTZ adapter on the Z body is that I can't use autofocus. But that's okay, I've got my tripod and I can use manual focus, and should be okay. So yeah, let's see what we can get. It's getting pretty windy now. I might head down to the woods, see if it's a bit more sheltered in there, because it's very difficult to get pictures with macro when things are blowing around. So I'm in the woods now. It's a lot less windy here, so much more sheltered, a lot easier to get macro shots. I found a nice leaf just down here, and there's some really nice colours on that leaf, so that could be a nice shot. Don't know if you can see this curly leaf up here. Got some really nice kind of curls on the bottom bit and in the middle there. It's quite high up on this branch, so I can't get the tripod up there. So I've taken a couple of shots handheld. They don't look too bad in on the back of the camera, but I'll have to get them in Lightroom and see if they're sharp enough, but they could be quite nice with those curly bits on the edges of the leaves. Right, I found a cool little mushroom patch just down here. I think it's going to be really good. nice moss on this little trunk with the mushrooms as well. I think that could be really good, so definitely having some of that. Right, I think I've got 1 or 2 good shots now. It's funny with macro, or any photography really. At first you kind of think there's not much around, you're not really seeing much, and you have to kind of like loosen up a little bit and like get into it, and when you do, you start seeing things everywhere, and like, you know, there's good opportunities just all around. Like even in one small spot I got maybe like 3 or 4 shots, so at least I think they were good. So let's get back into Lightroom, see what they're actually like. So that's almost it for this week. It was great to get out as things are changing towards autumn now, and I'm looking forward to how that develops, seeing the trees turn more yellow and orange, and hopefully get out and get some big landscapes and stuff of that. But it was a nice change this week just to focus on the small stuff and tell a story about autumn on a small scale with the macro. It was another long one this week, so if you've made it this far, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. I love doing this and I love getting out every week, and I'd do it regardless if anybody watched it or not, but knowing that other people are and getting something out of it, hopefully, that's just that added little bit of motivation for me. And if you're new to the channel and you've got this far, then yeah, please subscribe. Click the button here or down there and that'd be great. So yeah, thanks a lot, and I will catch you for the next one.